right, guys, here we are on Euro Pound. It is Tuesday, November 5th, so it is election day here in America. I'm probably going to expect some pretty interesting price action today, to be honest. Here I'm looking at Euro Pound. I've just gone into this position, right as we started to pull back into this zone. So what I want to talk about here is this level. So if we go to a daily chart, actually let's start off on a 4 hour, make this a little bit easier. So okay, we've had this zone marked here for quite some time. You see we have support down here, pretty strong support here, another touch here, broke through, pushed back above, retested, right, moved lower. We have another large support here, which is what my target is. Broke through again and, made a lower high still above the zone, but have since broke through. And we are now clear below. And so really my whole thought process here is, we had a sharp push down, candle closure here, right at about, market open time. And we are now pushing back up. I didn't get in exactly at, a retest of this level. We haven't fully retested it, but it's really the price action is what I'm looking at. The shape of everything. We really lost all of our volume here, dumped down, pushed back up a little bit. Great place to go short. So I want to look at a weekly to really get a better view of this, right? We can see here, time after time, we just continue to make lower highs, lower high after lower high. We're sort of stair stepping over to the downside. And I don't know exactly which video it was where I talked about this. I don't even know if I uploaded it. I think I did. But we have this huge support down here. It goes back pretty far, right? And so I think in order for us to get a good case for a long position, like a swing long position, I think we're going to come down and retest this maybe one more time. And so, really where we are right now, we had a pretty strong bullish close here, but underneath this zone, right? Large wick closed under, fairly large wick. We're now moving under. I think we can pull back from where we currently are. And yeah, let's go to the daily actually. Yeah, so daily, pretty interesting here. Same thing. So we push up, right? Close above, immediately close back below. New candle, large wick, top wick. We close within the zone and we are now pushing below and have broken the low of the previous daily candle. And that relative to this strong level here, which we are now basically testing the level as resistance, I think we have a really good case, like I said, for a short position. So anyway, that's what I'm looking at. I think, if you want to be a little safer, like this, we could wait and maybe see if we retest it again or come up a little bit higher and then we could get maybe a better entry. But I think stops above this level are fine. If I was going to wait to get in a little bit higher, I would definitely have stops above here, above this wick. I think that would be the safest, but I'm fine with this. And then we're just targeting down into this zone, which is that large support zone that we were just talking about. So anyway, I hope that makes sense. Just a pretty simple entry. Another way of looking at it is we sort of lost all of our bullish momentum here. If we establish a little trend line here, right? We sort of lost this and are now pushing back up, similar to a pound Aussie position that we had quite a while ago. So anyway, I think we can maybe go sideways a little bit and then hopefully roll over to the downside. But I do know, this is euro pound. This isn't a dollar pair, but I am expecting some craziness today because of all the things going on politically. So anyway, that's just what I'm looking at on euro pound. You see now we're back at our entry point. So this would be a great place to, maybe see if we go a little bit higher and try to really get our risk to reward, as precise as we want it, right? But anyway, that's what I'm looking at the moment. And we'll see how this plays out now. All right, guys, I wanted to give a little update here on euro pound. We have secured our profit here. This is a really nice position, not really much drawdown. So I believe on our entry, I spoke about, maybe pulling back up a little bit higher for an entry into this zone, which would have given us a better risk to reward. But still overall, happy 2.81, pretty decent. Didn't really test our area where our stop loss was really at all, which is awesome. And so, we got out here within this zone, really close to the top of the zone, where we, started to gain some support, and we are now, pulling back up a little bit. So obviously we are completely out of this position, um, which is awesome. So let's go back over this again, right? Really, the 4 hour is key here for this. So, um, we have all of these, which I spoke about before, all these touches within the zone. If we go to a daily, you can see, clearly we are in a downtrend. We are continually making lower highs. All these peaks continue to be lower than before, and we do know that we are approaching a multi-year support down here. We see this as well as back here. And so this is a very strong support level for us. And so when we look at this, right, my bias here is not, when we push up here, right, which is relevant to this trade, this candle closing above here is not, my bias at this point is not to go long at a pullback here. My bias is for this to correct and go back underneath this zone, right? Just like we've done, time and time again, right? Continuing this downtrend. So I'm not really looking for a reversal. Statistically, it makes more sense to just continue going with the trend. And so that's what I'm doing here. And so, here, if we pulled back and retested and started to push back up, I would sort of just leave this and wait a while and see what's going on and see if it makes sense that maybe we'd be in a reversal. But my bias is really for us to move lower. And so we have the strong level that we push through. The very next daily candle closes below the zone, right? And then the next day, what do we get? We get a strong wick to the upside, very small body showing weakness. And then on the daily chart, we see that we push down into this lower level support, lower time frame support. So what we do here is, obviously this was the daily candle close. This is the next daily candle, right? And then, we pull back a little bit. And here, like I said, this is where people would maybe want to go long. But again, what are we doing? We're sticking with the trend, right? So our bias is inherently going to be bearish. And so what do we get right here? Nice bearish candle close. And then we pull back up a little bit. And like I said, would have been a little bit nicer to wait until we actually push into the zone. I got in technically a little bit early. And if we would have gotten in there, it would have been definitely a 3-to-1 or a little bit more. But yeah, and then our exit is just, into this zone down here where we have lots of traffic. And so you can see where we got out. We started to pull back pretty quickly from there. And so, this we're just going to leave for now. I don't know if I think I mentioned before that I think we're going to retest this low maybe before we could move to the upside, or we just keep going down. Maybe we pull back up into this again and move lower. But overall, happy with this, out of the position now. And, we're just gonna sort of sit back now and see. We had a lot of Euro news, a lot of issues with the Euro going on last night. And so, we're just gonna wait and see, where we go from here. But overall, happy with the position that we got here on Euro Pound.